There's a quick breakdown of his results so far this season, a season which was iffy for him until the All England club. And already he's shown pretty good form. He's already won once today, remember, to get here to the quarter-final. They had to play a third-round match this morning, and he beat Tommy Haas 6-2 after an easy win a couple of days against Gianluca Pozzi 6-1, 6-2. And Sampras in pretty fine form. Up against him, Andre Agassi. No one in better form than Andre at the moment, after winning back-to-back titles in Washington and Los Angeles. Up to just outside the top 10 again now, after a terrible year last year, of course, when he dropped right outside the top 100. Now right back in there. 4 titles, including those two, Washington and LA, back-to-back in terrific form. And we've already seen him today come through a very tough one against Goran Ivanisevic, which he just shaded in the end, but he was mugged early on in the match by Ivanisevic, who played really well. Simon Reed alongside Fru McMillan. Okay, go Fru. This is exciting.
It is. This is really, I'm sure, a lot more than the Canadians would have expected sometime before this tournament began, because these are 2 wild cards into the event. Well, this is one of the wildest matches ever, I'm sure, at the Canadian Open. 2 of the great players of modern tennis, and one of the great encounters, I'm sure.
Sampras has won 5 of the last 6. It's 13-9 overall, and on hard courts it's 4-3 to Sampras. Most of the stats in his favour, except Andre has won his last 12 matches. Rudy Berger, the man in charge. And there's hardly a seat to be had here. Sellout crowd of 10,000.
Agassi won the spin of the coin and elected to receive. So Sampras knows that Agassi's trying to get him cold. Sampras usually a very quick starter. He usually lays down his credentials very early on, even though, of course, Agassi knows all about it.
Wonderful. And you may think from the scoreline against Ivanisevic that Andre started slowly, then he didn't. He was just mugged by some spectacular play. And Andre did very well to counter it and come back and come through. Some start there.
Sampras served 11 aces earlier today against Haas, a man who this year is averaging 10.5 per match.
So he's followed by the double, and straight away Andre has break point. Bit of a chance. There's a fair breeze up here in the commentary position, which is behind Andre. But I think down on court, it's not too much of a problem.
Yes, those flags, as we are very high up.
It's Andre just a fraction slow going for it. He might have made it had he made up his mind just a split second earlier.
Sampras has been volleying extremely well in his 2 matches, just as he did at Wimbledon. The best volleying there that I've ever seen from Sampras.
Oh. Well, the double-hander is working pretty well right at the start here.
Yes, at this rate, we're likely to see a lot of replays because there's so much class on court, and it's quite evident that both of them are right on their toes.
Both had testing matches this morning. Sampras won straight sets against Haas, but it wasn't that easy. Tiebreaker first set. And Andre came from a set down to beat Ivanisevic. Wasn't the longest match in the world, an hour and 40, just over 1 hour and 40, I think. Sampras is about 1 hour and 20. So they're nicely warmed up, I would think. And it looks it too. The lights on. This could be a spectacular evening. It's 1-love to Sampras. 1 break to each man. Majestic setting for a royal match here. They met once before here. It was the final in '95. In fact, it was in Montreal. And that's quite interesting. Agassi wants the sweat, which Sampras has left, dried away, and you can understand it. It's flooding out down. Agassi won that match in Montreal in 3 sets, having dropped the first set. One of 3 titles he's won here. Just quite extraordinary.
Well, quite a lot of movement by Sampras there. Agassi may have caught him just out of the corner of his eye. Moving as if to cover the backhand and run around it. Let's see if he does it again here.
One of the few false shots. Again, he wipes his wrist. Doesn't wear a sweatband, which is extraordinary for a man who sweats as much as he does. But you'd hardly argue with him, would you? I guess he knows best.
Yes, what makes him feel comfortable, but really he should have one on each wrist. He's a constant fidget with the perspiration.
Chance for Sampras to stamp himself again on this. Oh, thought he was going to make it. I've rarely seen him move as well as he did for the previous shot.
Yes, he really had to. Once he'd run around the backhand, Sampras, he really had to damage a bit more with the forehand, but almost bringing this off spectacularly.
So aggressive. Here's break point again.
Agassi going for first serve in there as opposed to really trying to hit the cover off the ball, which he hasn't been doing too well. No aces yet. Second time he's made that error with the backhand down the line. Just hasn't covered the ball, just played it perhaps a little too far away from the body.
Again, a terrific return, and Sampras on to Agassi the whole time. Difficult to keep him away. Break point number 3.
That's the humidity, 74. Seems more to me.
I certainly believe it looking at Sampras. Agassi with a chance to level up for his 3rd successive game. It's a big kick on this court, and Sampras nowhere near controlling that.
Little nod from Agassi there, as if acknowledging the fact that this court does take a tremendous kick, and that's a good serve to have against the Sampras backhand, because he's either got to contend with it by taking it very early, and if he then hits the ball short, Agassi's got a lot of court to hit in behind him, or else he's got to let the kick drop, as it were.
7th ace. Best server against the best returner. Yes, not sure how much he middled that, but as we said so often, tricky to play the miss hit.
Yes, I think he got hold of it reasonably well, but Sampras is so confident on the volleying these days, trying for that drop volley. He's a new volleyer, really, even as far as Agassi is concerned.
Just out of reach. There was hardly any room down there, but knowing Andre, he'd go for it, and found it.
Yes, perhaps just hitting that volley a little flat, but it wasn't a bad one, as you say. Agassi finding room really where there was none.
That's Sampras' biggest serve so far, 210 Ks.
This is one thinks of the difference between first and second serve. Agassi got 14% of the Ivanisevic first serves, won 14% of the points, whereas he won 60% of the Ivanisevic second serve. So it just shows how important it is for the big server to get in a high percentage of quick first serves.
Just too good. He's countered Pete's sensational start, and now he's landing more of the bigger blows himself.
Yeah, Sampras doing everything just about right on that volley. And even though Agassi may have thought, well, this is a better volley than I've seen from Sampras on the backhand side, it brought the best out in him. Lovely two-handed angle. That angle that two-handers find that one-handers can't.
No. This is ridiculous. There have been some really poor calling today, and that was another one. That was in.
Yeah, it sure was.
He says it was wide of the centre line. He's getting an old-fashioned stare. It's not as if it's unimportant. Have a look at this.
I don't think it was even close. Lines and right in the corners.
Inside. Tough to overrule from Rudy Berger. Going so fast. But that was a poor decision also.
Yes, and given just what I was saying about the percentage behind first and second serves, you can understand that that really plays into Agassi's hands.
He read him like a book. He was a bit lucky, Sampras, though, to get away with that. The first volley wasn't very good.
No, he suddenly found that this was a little lower than he expected, and yet, as you say, played it poorly, but then reading the Agassi story all too well. Agassi will be kicking himself. What an opportunity lost.
And there's his reward. Well and truly rubbed in. Ace number 8 for Sampras. Weathers the storm, and he leads 4-3 opening set. Agassi. Sampras has never won this title. Only played the tournament a couple of times. Is it going to be third time lucky, or is the 3-time champion going to just get the better of him here? 3-4. Sampras might have had his heart in his mouth as he played that forehand. It looked well within the grasp of Andre.
Well, he really had to watch that high one of Agassi's because it had a lot of mishit on it, miscue. Couldn't really fling away at it. Had to be a controlled shot.
The other thing I notice is that Sampras is now wearing a sweatband, and a biggie it is too.
Yes, finally seen the light, and feels that the linesman does, and I agree with him. I thought that serve was out.
Agassi.
And I think still thinking about it too.
38 minutes just flown by. They're the bare stats. Interesting that so far only winning 62% of points when the first serve's in. It's a credit to Andre's returning. Not much you could do about ace number 9. hear from the oohs and ahs from the crowd that it's Andre really who's their favourite. They admire Pete, but they love watching this guy. Ten aces.
So essential, of course, and that's so demoralizing for a top-class returner. Just total negation of your strength.
And again, it says a lot for Andre's returning, doesn't it? If he's serving 10 aces but still only winning in the mid-60s of points when the first serve's in, Andre's doing pretty well on those he can reach.
Exactly. Such hand-eye coordination, Agassi.
He didn't think the call was coming. There's not a great deal of confidence in the calling at the moment, but it was there in the end. That's the main thing. 5-4 to beat Sampras. Got back to level at 3-all.
Yes, that forehand on the first point will have reminded Agassi that Sampras can't just wipe away a clean winner on the backhand side, as he can occasionally on the forehand.
Yeah, really clever play. And he made the finish look easy.
Yes, just halted his advance here so as not to play the half volley and taking it just a little later than that, but magnificent timing. It's not often you see Agassi totally left stranded.
Well, he gambled, and he really had to make a winner out of that, because he was nowhere. Agassi got it back. Oh, can't believe it. You've done so well. How often do you see Pete miss overhead?
Yes, this was a real aberration because he'd done everything wrong, had done a bit of wrong footing, and really got the slam dunk all wrong. A little lower, mind you, than most, but still it was very, very manageable.
First to know it was miscued.
Would never have done that, says Gilbert.
So after exactly 3/4 of an hour, Agassi finishes set point. Badly needs the first serve now. Yes. And listen to the roar. That's how much they want him.
Well, that's such clever play by Agassi. The first time he'd used it, and what an important point to use it on. Just kicking it in very slow, but of course it enabled him to get in close.
Must be a little dispiriting for Pete Sampras after all he's achieved, his 5 Wimbledon titles, his 11 Grand Slams, #1 in the world, 5 consecutive years, and yet there's no doubt who the crowd want to win. But Andre's come back from 3-love, now from set point.
There's no doubt that he's done the Houdini act. He's struggled on every serve but one.
Again, the switch of direction. Even Andre couldn't read that. So 2 serves there, to backhand and forehand, which looked identical.
Yes, they're very difficult to read, and perhaps just a little frustration there from Agassi, flapping at that one rather.
And a love service game. Sampras moves in front again, 6-5. Hit serve, but it's all right.
It's certainly one of the wildest shots that Sampras has played. A very good two-hander of Agassi's, but Sampras's forehands look really pretty good.
Yeah, didn't like that. Meat and drink to Sampras, that kind of length. And you don't often see Sampras deliver that length from Agassi.
Agassi really berating himself. A lot of open court.
There's a couple of wild shots in this game from Pete. to fade a little bit there, maybe just gearing himself for the breaker. He sometimes does that.
6 games all.
Might drop a serve, return game when he has to serve for a set. We saw that earlier on against Tommy Haas. But this is it.
Please. Sampras.
11th ace.
Well, it's a rarity, these tiebreakers between these two. They've played 59 sets, and this is only the 6th tiebreaker. Agassi leads 4-1 in career tiebreakers against Sampras.
That's just great movement from Sampras. Pete had a operation on a foot injury, had a wart removed shortly after Wimbledon, and maybe some were worried about his movement. Not now. It's been terrific, never better than there.
Well, that preceding point very, very settling for Sampras, because perhaps a little worrying for Paul Annacone and his fans, in that his ground stroke had just gone off the boil leading up to this tiebreaker, and Agassi would like them to have stayed there.
4-1 Sampras.
He's been outplayed so far in the tiebreak. Agassi still has the aggression and the ambition to go for a shot and make it like that.
Yes, he's certainly not anybody who believes in babying the ball much. And of course, if he's going to go to the Sampras forehand, he's really got to go with venom, because if he takes anything off the ball, Sampras has got to really cotton onto it and crack it. Important side this, because Sampras finds it easy to run around the backhand and play the forehand, also plays the backhand chip return pretty well. He's got a couple of options here.
Yes, and he used the chip so well. Sensibly worked that point out in advance.
Sampras.
Yeah, this is the more difficult side for Agassi, really, to contend with Sampras. Easier for him to win points to the left court on his serve.
(5-2) then. These two serves will do the trick. Like that, though. It's always going to be a tough one to change direction.
5-3 Sampras.
Just above knee height. Sampras still with a mini break advantage, though.
Oh, dearie me.
No. tough on Sampras, who really had him on toast there. Suddenly realised how good the shot was going to be. Raced in and he was there.
Yes, perhaps in some ways it equals out, because Agassi had a shot at it. And of course Sampras now with a correction actually gets a first serve, which he'd probably prefer.
Well, at least it was corrected. Yeah, out it was. It took a long time to come down. But well played, Andre Agassi. Tough luck on Sampras, though.
Yes, and it just gives him something a little bit more to think about, because it's not just so much this match. There were quite a few poorish calls in the match against Haas. Not all that long ago.
Oh, don't believe it. Just don't believe it. His third double. He's thrown the opportunity away. Oh, a smile and a grimace at the same time. 2 set points for Sampras. It may not be important.
Sampras.
Well, you heard the exclamation immediately from Sampras, appealing to a higher order. Really a little ill-prepared for that shot. It wasn't a difficult one.
Just a minute short of the hour, and what an hour. Pete has a chance to get the first set here. You knew he'd go for it. A couple of inches long. And Pete Sampras takes the first set on the breaker after exactly an hour. I'm not sure. Todd Schneider there, at the back on the right, his physical trainer, will be a little alarmed, I think, because he's not in physical shape to take on Andre Agassi right now. Love 5. I remember a remark that Jim Courier made in the Australian Open, I think the best ever match I've commented on. The guy's near his deathbed and he's still firing aces.
Yes, that was an extraordinary match, really one of the epics in the true sense of the word, really, in tennis.
9 doubles. Yeah, it doesn't help, that kind of remark. The guy's doing okay, as good as he can, and some wag from the crowd said his mother could have made that shot. His mother's not feeling as bad as Sampras is at the moment. And all it will do is speed up Pete's willingness to quit here. It must be going through his mind.
Yes, because really Agassi, I can't imagine, is going to let him off the hook. The weaker Sampras becomes, the stronger Agassi looks.
Especially the way Pete plays his game. He puts so much into each shot, doesn't he? Serving and volleying as well.
Well, it's very physical, and of course it's very mental as well, which drains you too. There's never yet been a love 6 in all their 22 encounters.
So set point for a 6-love set against the world's best player, but you know why.
He's really saying oof, because one of the ball kids, in attempting to catch that, it sounded as if they got the ball right on the end of the finger.
He's up to 16 aces now. Well, he's won a game. How much joy it's given him, I'm not sure. He's talking with Todd Schneider as if he needs to be given something. Or maybe he's telling him that he might quit after this game.
No, I think he's trying to move. He's just looking for the opportune moment to get out of there.
Yes. Have to get a pill, I would think.
Well, it may be better for Agassi. They always say never beat a good player 6-love. Sampras beat Wayne Ferreira and Key Biscayne 6-love this year. Ended up losing the match. You do it in the last set of a match, of course, if you can.
It's a set point for Andre Agassi. Agassi's first ace against the 16 of his opponent. And he doubles it up to take the set and take us into a decider. Sampras is going to carry on. One set all. Statistics of a bare set, really. Sampras got tired and wasn't very committed. Maybe he's more committed in the third set. It is very difficult to work out with Pete exactly what is wrong, but I sense there's some kind of fever that's brought that fatigue on so early. It's just not natural to sweat as much as he did and get as tired as he did so quickly, even if he has been away from the game for a month. He looked rocky as he made his way back to the centre. It was some shot.
Certainly was a terrific timing. Of course, the problem for Agassi is he undoubtedly wonders what on earth's going on.
I mean, there was a period towards the end of the second set where Agassi was padding the ball into court, as if he felt sorry for Pete and really didn't want to cause him too much grief. Occasionally, Agassi allows himself a look down court just to see what's happening. He's definitely taken his foot off the accelerator as Agassi. It's a totally different match now.
But really looking none the worse for wear, Agassi, as a result of the exertions of this match and the three-setter against Ivan Isovic. And you just think it would be a miracle still for Sampras to be able to win it.
His 11th double fault.
Yes, he's really gone to pieces, and of course this has been the chief problem. He's trying to force the second serve. And Agassi with a target, and given really a slow moving ball, even though it was low. Sampras not with the spring in the legs.
Maybe the final blows are raining in now. 2 break points.
He plays that cross court so well that Sampras quite understandably anticipating that. But plenty of time for Agassi to see him make his move.
You just never know. He's got such talent that even at a standstill he can produce winners. He's virtually at a standstill now. But Agassi has the break and moves in front in the match for the first time. It's 2-1.
Agassi leads by 2 games.
And Sampras not doing much defending now. Your chances are. And beautiful it looked there.
Well, Agassi sending him a message, really running this one down. There's not a likelihood of him winning the point, but determined to show Sampras that a lot of strength left in his legs.
Yeah, if you don't feel good, I certainly do. When it's within range, he still has the ability to pull off dramatic winners. Nearly did again. Wow. So close.
Thank you.
Well, it was very nearly 2-all, but Agassi's now won 3 games in a row and 9 of the last 11 since he dropped the tiebreak. Very tired follow through to that shot. Nineteenth ace. Serving pretty well in this set.
Yes, it's all just a little too spasmodic, unfortunately, to be gripping. It's lost its intensity, unfortunately.
One guy moving well and one who isn't. His 12th double fault. Break point. And this is where Agassi could wrap it all up. A double break.
Well, you feel he's just hanging on here by his fingernails, not to slip into the abyss of defeat to Agassi.
Powdered that serve. again, he's going to carry on, which is good to see, because he's ailing in so many ways. Agassi leads, double break, 4-1. Defeat Sampras here, a tournament he's never won, and it looks like that's going to continue. Good that he's out there, good that he's battled, but I'm afraid whatever's ailing him has accentuated the fatigue, and Agassi's mopping him up now. Such a shame, because it was a wonderful first set, 4-1. Agassi, who couldn't fire an ace to save his life early on, now has 3. Just a game away, and he'll take this victory. Don't worry about an ailing opponent. This is big, and Brad knows it.
Yes, and it's certainly a bit of a joyride for Agassi at the moment. Of course, he senses and knows that Sampras isn't himself, but still, it's a real booster coming off 2 tournament victories. But it's really a bit like target practice for Agassi, who's now the second ranked of the Americans. How well he's done this year. Pulled himself from a ranking in the hundreds up to number 11.
And very near the 10, I would think, after beating Sampras here to go to the semi-final of the Super 9. We'll work it out tomorrow. But this looks another big step. Still firing the aces. His 22nd. But the rest of his game, I'm afraid, minutes. Serving for a place in the semi-final. Well, the gods want it to carry on. Surely not.
Thank you.
Point. And Sampras is finished. A big win for Agassi. No explanation. And no explanation needed. He's won, and that's all that matters for Andre. What's the matter with Pete, we'll find out later, but I think we've got a good idea. But no problems for Andre. 2 good wins for him today. He's through to the semi-final against Richard Krajicek.
Well, his campaign in North America this year is very reminiscent of Agassi a couple of years ago. 2 wins in succession, and now coming in here very much match tight. But Sampras just lacking in conditioning and perhaps a little bit of something else. But Agassi really a terrific first set in which he came off second best, but beginning of the second it was very evident really that there was only going to be one end. Of course, conditioning a very important part of tennis.
So it's Agassi against Krajicek, and Tim Henman will play Pat Rafter in the other semi-final. Hope you watch them both on Eurosport.